When is it starting? Now. That's when it starts. Yeah, wasn't planning to have a 10-minute pre-stream, but here we are. We're here. It's good. It's all good. And boom. So, for those of you who were with us last time, you may remember we did the pallets for the Volkswagen Gran. Today is the turn of another Volkswagen group car. This is the Seat Arosa. Now the caveat is on this, some of the colours have already been done, some of them are taken from the Lupo, and then some of them are new. So we've got the silver to do, the black's done because that's for the Polo, the reds, one of the reds is done, we've got a red, we've got an orange, which is going to be good, and then there's the yellow, which is from Lupo, the green, which I did earlier, another green, which I did earlier, and there's also a blue to go into here as well, which I did earlier. So that's what we're going to be doing. Again, these streams are not particularly interesting. It does have to be said, or at least I don't think they're interesting. Other people think they're interesting. But relax, we're chill. It's all good. The reason I'm doing this essentially is to just sort of motivate myself because, well, I've been trying to do these for the last couple of hours and it isn't particularly interesting work. And so to avoid getting distracted with other stuff, I'm doing this. So any questions, quite happy to answer them. But for now, let's go ahead and whack the player one on and we will begin. Alright, just get my group up here, just let me make sure that is definitely streaming the right screen. It's saying voices coming through, let me just quickly double check that. Cool, that is working. I will turn this down a midge though. I don't do there's anything interesting, sure. No, it's just my desktop. And there is nothing interesting on my desktop, I can assure you of that. Alright. Let's go. Hello, Ollie. Hello, Cairo. Alright. So I'm going to open the BMP in PSP7, which is of course how everything is done here. Off to my right, you can't see this, but I've got this, which is essentially like a... Oh, never mind, that's open on top of that. It's like a paint shop, paint.net file where I'm just taking the colours from. So if you're wondering where I'm actually pulling these from, it's not just like a number generator or anything. It's like the complete car is exported onto here. For reasons of complication, you can't just export that directly onto this. You actually have to colour it in manually, and in the case of the Polo, there is 10 palettes to go through. So these are not fun. In fact, we start with a silver as well, which is one of my least favourites because you have to do LOD 2, which is not one of my favourites because LOD 2 white and LOD 2 silver look very similar to one another, and so sometimes you do miss colours, and ultimately the funny thing is LOD 2 really doesn't matter in the age of emulation because a lot of people who will be emulating the game won't even see these. They'll you get cheats to sort of go around the back end of it, but of course if you're playing on like actual hardware and stuff, you see these relatively frequently, not to the point where like you can actually sort of notice them or anything, but yeah, they are definitely there. Gotta slightly different play one to last time. Last time we did Jungle Destination, and this time we're doing, I can't remember what this album's called actually. It's got a name. It's like called Sessions or something. Shout out play one. I would call myself lazy for like having the same audio again, but I don't want to be funny. Whenever Nathan does this, he uses the same sort of house Gran Turismo mix that some like random dude made. So in that scenario, I'd say we're pretty okay on all this. Oh, there we go. Managed to get through the silver with no issues, which is good. And in case you wanted to quickly see it, this is what an Arosa looks like. It's a small polo-based hatchback from Seat. It's cool. Noisy Dean made this, not Nathan. So shout out Noisy Dean, shout out everyone who works on a Beige edition. We managed to get 12 cars for this month. Once this one's finished, which is good. Well, actually 11, but you can count the 12th one if you want, because it's basically like a legacy, which I had done in November and forgotten to add the wheels to, so that exists. Of course, the problem is we found out last time is the shorts all have to be under a minute long, so doing 11 cars in that many minutes is going to be a challenge, to say the least, but we will try and get there, as we always do. Let's have a quick. Shout out to the 6 people watching. 7, apparently now. We've got 7 likes on the stream. That's good. Either the chat's broken or no one's chatting. I'm not quite sure which one it is. Could be people here just vibing. I don't know, man. But for transformative reasons, obviously, if you've got any questions or anything to say on this one, please do let me know, because yeah, otherwise we're just going to sit here and vibe to music, which is fine as far as I'm concerned, but probably not fine for the YouTube transformative god. Hello, I am broken. Hello, Buju, you are indeed broken, as the Pantera song would go. It is a weird time to stream in the day, to be fair, this. I usually try and avoid Saturday, just because Saturday can be a bit sort of dead in the water as a day, to be fair. But yeah, Friday's good because everyone sort of gets off work and tunes in. Sunday not so much, and Sunday's probably okay. Sunday does well for videos, I find. Usually Sunday will be, if I like, I don't know, if I have a hot lap car that needs doing and I know it'll be hype like the Tacoma was, I'll upload that on a Sunday just to take advantage of that, because they do seem to do quite well. Hello, you the possum. Let me know if it's too loud, by the way, on audio balancing. It shouldn't be, but maybe it is. Turn it down a smidge. There we go. Hello, streamer. I like that. It's like a copy and paste. Hello, streamer. I am enjoying your content. Please can you balance a bucket on your head or whatever people who have face cams do? But yeah, the Arosa is not all that interesting as a vehicle, I'm afraid. Obviously, in the context of Beige, it fits perfectly in. But as far as... Is that just the same colour as the last one? It isn't the same colour, it's a very slightly different shade of silver. Like, nominally different shade. You can barely see that on the other monitor. Watched the latest course car video and started wondering if Beige will allow any concept cars. No. No concept cars. We had them, and I know this because I did the, actually did the work on this a couple of, Friday, actually, yesterday, of looking sort of what we've cut and what we've kept. And yeah, we originally had concept cars, but they just sort of got cut out one by one, and I wouldn't really consider having them again. Concept cars are, you know, at the very least interesting. There's going to be a couple of pre-production cars in the mod. Sort of like, there's a couple of pre-production cars, there's a couple of cars that were on European presses by 1999, so technically the Fabia, I think, if you were to look it up, the Fabia would be like destined as a 2000s car, but technically it was on a European press launch at the time, so it was around. And then yeah, there's like one or two other cars that are just going to be like in as pre-production examples because they were sort of evidenced in 1999, which is cool. But yeah, no, nothing sort of concept car-y. Just because, again, I don't know, there was some. I mean, the not really any sort of shade mentioning them, but there was the BMW E1, the Peugeot Ion, the Renault Modus concept, stuff like that. But to be honest with you, it's all sort of A, again, too interesting, and B, to be perfectly honest, I feel like having like the Ion and stuff almost puts you into meme mod territory, which, as I've expressed quite a few times, this isn't. This is as serious as a heart attack, as some people would say. So yeah, it's I mean, obviously you're here to have fun, but yeah, no, there's no sort of haha funny look at the car fall over meme things here. So no concept cars, Copperhead's not beige enough. Interestingly enough, the Copperhead does have a beige engine. I guess you could say the Copperhead was I think it was the 2.7 V6 from the like Intrepid, I think. A few other things as well. The Intrepid, the 300M had the egg engine, I think. But yeah, like the Copperhead had a few bits, but no, Copperhead would be too much. But no, they were there originally, in case you're curious. But to be fair, I mean, even when they were in the mod as well, they weren't really like, you know, they were all like price cards and stuff. You couldn't actually just go and look at them and buy them and all the rest of it. I have no idea. Possibly. I know Stellantis was on a big, they're on a big show-off spree at the moment, showing off all the sort of stuff they're doing, so. I know they've announced like a new sort of Viper, but not really a Viper thing. But yeah, I'm not really sure what else they've announced. I tend to, concept cars and stuff like that, I sort of just tend to avoid unless they actually become real things, and with Stellantis you're never really sure whether they're coming and going. I do have to admit, if I was working for Stellantis, I probably wouldn't be announcing a new Copperhead and a Viper. I think I'd be discontinuing the DS brand, because I think it's ridiculous that that brand's still alive after this long. And a few other things as well. I know they announced the new Lancia, which is cool. I guess, I don't know. Good old Stellantis, man. Keep kicking. They've also got that partnership with Leap Motor, which I find a bit weird, because Leap Motor's not even, like, really there in terms of the Chinese market. I think I've seen a couple of T03s driving around, but I've not seen any of the big C10s, which I'm assuming is what they're targeting. Unless they've got an idea for like the T03. I don't know if there's a plan to turn it into like a little sort of micro car or something. There's also that new Dodge Ram Hellcat street truck thing, which I've seen, which looks monstrous. Isn't there some rumour they're cancelling the EV charger as well? Isn't that a thing that's going around at the moment? I don't know how true that is. I wouldn't want to speculate on that one. I think it's one of those things that wouldn't surprise me if it happened, but it also wouldn't surprise me if it didn't, because they've engineered the thing, so they may as well keep it around as a niche model, I guess. It's good for California and wherever else. Although I'm not really sure what's happening with is that a... That has been coloured in, yeah. Yeah, I've heard it. I haven't seen the announcement yet. I'll wait until there is an announcement to jump on it, but it surprised me if they did, but it wouldn't really surprise me if it didn't. I don't know what's happening in California's sort of, because they've got that thing now where you have to like sell an alternative fuel vehicle, but I don't know if that's been struck down or rolled back, or if Dodge is getting some special treatment. Not that I can personally imagine California is a particularly Dodge place, but I could be wrong there. Maybe they love the Hellcat down there. Or on the west of there, I guess. It's not really down, is it? It's sort of... You know. I don't know. How do you explain California? Long. Because if I remember right, that's sort of what the Mirai was about. It's also why you have the likes of the Nissan Altra EV, the Honda EV plus the... God, what else was there? The Dodge Epic, stuff like that. Most of which you can drive in Beige Edition, actually, ironically enough. Although they are... Most of those sort of EVs are incredibly expensive, so maybe don't. Although, I don't know, there's an event for them, so it's the one important thing we did with Beige is to make sure there's no useless car. Every car has at least a purpose to exist. Can't tell if that handle, I don't know, whatever, it's done. So, in case you're wondering what all these are, Pilot 1's the LOD, which is like the car you see in the distance, i.e. that. And then these two sort of get coloured in as you go along. Palette 2 is the side texture. You can tell that because the indicator's orange and the door lock's on there. Palette 3 is the windows. Palette 4 is the bonnet and the roof. Palette 5 is this sort of grille section. Palette 6 is one of the bumpers, either the front or the rear. I can't really remember, so I'm just sort of colouring them both in as like they should be done. And palette 7 is the tailgate. And then palettes 14 and 15 are these sections around the rear lights and the top light bar, in case you was curious. So that's how we're looking, in case you're wondering why I stop when I get to 9 and 10. I think one of 9 and 10... Actually, no, I don't think 9 and 10 are actually used. I think this shares its palettes with the Lupo, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It is technically... Actually, no, was it taken out? I don't know how this was made, I'll be honest. I know the Lupo was a starting point, but I'm not quite sure how much of Lupo's still left in the Arosa's sort of design on our end. Because I think the front end probably needs remodeling technically, because the Arosa's got the sort of flatter front end, whereas the Lupo's got the big sort of happy circular lights that I think also slightly like impose into the bonnet, if I remember rightly. So I could be wrong there. There is a not insignificant chance I'm wrong on that one. Get the old plate holder. I think this is the front. I think this might be the front, and then the other one's the rear. I think. That is the bigger streak, so we want to go for 777, because they are the little streaks like that, and then there's some darker bits, which are here, and then there you go, and then that's just the edge there. I don't know why these two bumpers don't just share a palette, to be honest. It'd make everyone's lives easier, but here we are. They do not. I don't know if it's because of something going on there with the grey streaks or not. Anyway, save that to there. There's also the front and rear plates on this as well, because this has got plates. Seems to be a thing we're doing quite a lot with the Yo Lucas. It seems to be quite a thing we're doing with the Beige cars, is giving them separate plates, which is cool. I've always liked that about Gran Turismo, where they put like the press plates on the car, as opposed to just sort of leaving bare metal, which I'm not a big fan of. So where possible, that shall be done. Although it does take up quite a lot of space, that, and there is sort of complications in getting the whatchamacallit, getting the actual logos and stuff, because it really can vary from market to market on sort of what front plate. Obviously, like Japanese and American spec cars, they'll stick square plates on them. Typically the American stuff, they won't stick front plates on at all, because obviously not all states actually require a front plate in America, which is one of the sort of many quirks of building cars for America. Well, as in Europe, obviously, we require both plates by law. And yeah, Japan will use the little sort of squarer plates, which is why you see squarer plates on some of the I'm trying to think of specific examples that I can give you, but that's usually a good place to be honest with you. It helps in terms of beige, in terms of telling where your car comes from. So you'll notice the European market Civics have the longer plate design on it. The Japanese market Civics have the squarer plate design. There's no American market Civic, but if there was, then it'd have that as well. So all interesting stuff. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, they're fantastic. I mean, I don't know how many guys there was, but Play One certainly was a guy. I don't think they've done literally anything since 2008 either. I think it is literally just like this album. I think there's like another one that's around. It's called like Volume 2, but I don't know how. This is Before I Sleep. This one is Never. My favorite album, my favorite song off this album is coming up soon. But yeah, I played Jungle Destination quite a lot, but it turns out like the other stuff's pretty banging as well. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. Add to archive. And then if we pump that... Ooh, not like that. If we pump that into there... Obviously I'm saying this like I've got two screens, which I haven't. Well, I've got two screens, but you can't see two screens. And there's your silver. So there you go, that's what we've just done. Added the silver. We are on to a... Is this quite a nice deep red? Yeah, quite a nice sort of deep reddy colour. And then we've got one of my favourite colours, which is the orange to come. So I don't know what the beauty shot... The beauty shots are probably going to be taken in this colour because it's wild and the orange. And I think like one of the blues... Oh, there's that other blue as well that I couldn't show you earlier. It's quite a nice colour. The Arosa's got some really pretty colours. It's going to be a first car choice as well if you want to drive the Arosa. So if you see it here and you go, wow, I really want to play with that in beige, then the good news is that'll be a first car choice. Right, let me just get this right. There's two reds on this. One of them's done. Oh, this one's good actually. This song's pretty slapping. Yeah, it's sort of this like candy Diablo red, which is cool. And 63 is going to be this darker red because 67 is the orange, I think. Because 68 is yellow. There is actually logic to the way colours are lined up, and by logic I mean Polyphony did it, so we do it. So 31 is white, 31's always white, 30 and 31 are always white. And then 32 to 35 are usually like greys and silvers, 36 is black. And then it jumps up to the sort of late 60s for the... Oh, sorry, early 60s for the red, so sort of 62 through to 68, that's sort of red through to orange. And then after that, you start hitting your... I suppose you can use 69 if you really want to as well. We use that for sort of yellowy colours. That is not the colour I wanted to replace, although I don't think anyone who actually plays this is actually going to notice, so might be able to just get away with that. I wish you were here. Yeah, I wish you were here is good. I like that one. To be honest with you, the first album's kind of weird, because for me, the first album like really blends together massively. Whereas this one, sort of everything sounds different. But that first album's really good, but I probably can't. I Wish You Were Here is the only one I really remember because it's the one that's actually got lyrics. It's got tomato jaws on it. We did a lot of stuff during the Moving to You album. You probably won't notice that. If you think that's glaring in gameplay, like here, don't worry. Like I say, literally, if you play this on an emulator, you'll never see the LODs. If you play this on actual hardware, you'll never get close enough to the LODs to actually see sort of minor issues in terms of colouring and stuff, so don't worry too much about them lot of cars, because again, they're just not really relevant. To be fair, half the WODs are also completely the wrong size, and that's a base game issue, not an us issue. Like, the WODs aren't quite... From my understanding, the WODs aren't quite like... You'd expect them to be like 8 pixels by 8 pixels, and they're just sort of not. They're in this like weird sort of odd number thing, and the mapping on them is all weird, so half the time they're like way longer on one side than they are on the other side. That's what causes the although actually I think this is more an issue. No, actually no. No, maybe it is. That's what causes the for example, like the school bus in Epic Turismo to show as a Toyota GT1, for example. It's a very nice little, it's almost like a blood red colour, this. If you ever wanted to, if you was a vampire who wanted to pick a first car for Beige, the Arosa might be your best shot looking at this colour. The good news with these darker colours as well is usually you can sort of start blending stuff in a lot easier. So for example here, the next darkest shade is 0.9, and that'll be the darkest shade the rest of this colour will use, because past 8 you just won't see it whatsoever. So need to get this done so we can record the short either later today, which I hope not. I'm honestly hoping I sort of do this, and done quite a lot today. Done a lot of logos and stuff today. What the hell's this? Okay. Honda Accord people not happy that their car's not in Forza Horizon. Some guy in A-Spec who just keeps posting really cringy AI memes. I say that like the entire server isn't cringy. There's some good people there, but you know. Always worried about accidentally clicking a button and doing something else random. This is just gonna be 9, isn't it? Yeah. Just the darkest red you can get. A lot of this will scale as well, so if you see like 009 here, I think it works in multiples of 8, I wanna say. So like 40 there, that'll actually be 40 in game, but the 9 for example will actually be rendered as 8. I'm not quite sure how Nathan produces the colour charts. I know I've tried to do it in the past, but I do not have the eyes to really do like full-on colours, as evidenced by the fact that I think I did the Xantia, and I'm sort of hoping that gets looked at before launch, because I don't think it's very good, if I'm being honest. But we'll see on that one. This is my favourite one. I don't know what it is about this one specifically, but I really like this one. It gets stuck in my head constantly. But if you couldn't tell from the start of the stream, my fucking music diet at the moment is just bizarre. The last couple of days it's been sort of a weird mixture of like house music and Alice in Chains and Helmet. I've sort of been listening to a lot of that, seeing sort of what I like and what I don't, and I like a lot of it, so it's all good. Try and get in touch with my metal roots every now and again, you know, because that's sort of what I'm into. I guess the most of what I've listened to in my life is sort of metal, but recently there's been a lot of pop music, so, which is fine. Just into a bunch of like weird stuff. I think it's good to have a varied musical diet, you know. Sound like one of the media people. Whatever the 1992 album is, I'll be honest. I sort of just went off whatever album Them Bones was on and just listened through that. Usually with like bands, I'll listen to stuff in like a weird like order. So it's like usually I'll listen to, so usually I'll like one song off of something and then just hear the rest of it through that. Like for example, let's say with Alice in Chains, I knew Them Bones, so I decided, oh yeah, I'll go listen to whatever album that's from, listen through it, liked it, and then usually my next step weirdly would be to probably listen to whatever the newest album is. It sort of just depends on whatever Spotify recommends at the time. But I know like with Stone Sour, when I got into those, I listened to the first album, the newest album first, because I just wanted to see what that was like, and then I liked that, and then went to listen to the first album, and then sort of through the rest of their discography. So, and then we sort of see how many albums, you know, you can start stomaching. It is obviously it sounds like a it sounds like a cliche, but obviously there is like something to, you know, like, oh yeah, the first album is good, the next album is okay, the, you know, the third album is you know, every band like that goes through their 90s period, as Megadeth and Metallica and all the rest of it went through, although I personally quite liked it. Yeah, San Andreas, yeah. Yep, you're with me. I was listening to my like Spotify playlist at work, and every now and again I'll just be like, might as well do something while I'm bored out of my brain, so I'll just listen to a bunch of albums. And it landed on Chains and Helmet, so that's what I listened to. This bit, I love this bit. What's coming? It reminds me of like San Andreas stomp montages, and I don't know why. I'm just sort of like picturing an RG 500 like scaling up a dam or something while this is going on. Okay, so that's that colour. Weird. Darker colours are going to come into this in a second. 9. To be fair, the rest of this is probably going to be 9, which is good by me. 9, 9, 9. 16 up there. There we go. Oh, looks good. Again, I'm not actually sure which way around those bump pallets are, but we'll live with it. I'm fairly certain it's the rear than the front, I think. But again, I'm not actually 100% sure on that one. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's the in the middle colour. See, this I remember from the Lupo because I did the Lupo colours. Actually, I didn't do the Lupo colours, but I did do the Lupo palette. I think the Lupo's the earliest thing I ever worked on. Back in like September of whenever. I think it was before we even had a GitHub. Which is great. So worked on it for. It isn't. I mean, I did watch a ridiculous amount of San Andreas stunt montages way back in the day. I'm pretty versed on a lot of them. So, not entirely out of the realm of possibility. There was a lot of... Pretty much every famous like San Andreas modder that you know was Russian, so... Like JVT, who used to make all those like insane like Hummer and Pandas and stuff like that. I think that guy might have actually been Ukrainian. Can't quite remember. But... yeah, a lot of like that insane, like the Green Shark tuning Aston Martin with the blower on it and stuff. The good old days. Best bit is he was the best guy back then. There's a lot of bad San Andreas mods in the wild. The funny thing is, I say there's a lot of bad San Andreas mods in the wild. To be honest with you, they really peaked in like 2012 and stuff, and some of the new ones are terrible. There's a lot more of an emphasis on doing like lore-friendly stuff now as well, which I can't say has ever really been my bag, but there's like cool stuff. Like there's a lore-friendly EV1 that someone made, and some other things as well. There's like a lore-friendly EV1, there's a... enjoying FH6 as usual. Yeah, to be fair, I haven't actually played it that much the last few days, just because I've sort of done... I'm in this great position with it now where I was on track to do everything I wanted to. I completed like all of the mainline story, got all the races done super early. Last week I was playing through all the rival events, so all they're done now. So it's just sort of the seasonal stuff, and the best way, like I did all the races seasonal stuff on Thursday, so I'm just sort of waiting for the daily challenges to drop now. Managed to 100% the season on that first one, so that's done as well. So I don't really have to worry about doing it again, but I might just sort of see how long I can keep it up for. But yeah, no, it's really good. I'm very much enjoying it. Like I say, I'm just sort of... It isn't as soul-encompassing my life as it was the last couple of weeks, because I've pretty much done everything you can do. But I literally mainlined that game from, like, basically when it came out up until about the Sunday evening. Like, everything was done. So... not doing any of the challenges ones aside from the car ones. That's fair. I wouldn't, just to be clear, normally I just thought sod it, you know. Like the speed traps and stuff's like super easy to just sort of do, and you get a free wheel spin out of it. So I in the past I just don't really bother with the race events after a while. But the game's still new, so I'm quite happy to sort of play through this. The one thing I'm not a fan of, admittedly they've toned it back a little bit. I'm still really not a fan of the fact that they make you play online for some of the weekly challenge. It hasn't gotten to this point now, but like I remember when Horizon 4 had the daily playlists, and they'd be like, oh yeah, compete in like the online, like an online championship. I can't remember what they called it back then. They had like a name for it. And it got to the point where like they're team-based races, and it was like a best 2 out of 3. And so usually if my team had like lost the first race, I'd throw the second race, like on purpose, because I just didn't want to be there. And I don't like being forced into, I don't mind you forcing players into like single, so for example like the one this week forces you into the Raku. I don't mind that, you know, sort of let people experience new game modes and whatever. I'm not a fan of the fact of it throwing you into online play. I'm not interested in playing online against people. I didn't mind the Toge event this week. Admittedly, I lost because I had no like pre-prepared B-class cars or anything like that, and the guy I was against had an Evo that was just sort of the Toge events in Horizon 6 aren't like sort of curvy enough to really make it worth having a handling build for them, apart from that one like race in the middle. So managed to get a Huya. That's good. The latest build I remember seeing for San Andreas was when World of Tank was getting trapped and the one just ripped the tank model from the game and made them work in SA. Yeah, that happened when Horizon 3 had its big sort of model dump that happened there as well, where like a lot of Forza models just sort of start getting imported into the game. Juice 2 as well, although the good thing with Juice 2 is the Juice 2 models are actually pretty damn good, and they're like really low poly as well, so they work really well with San Andreas. But yeah, that was a problem back then. You better at the Tokyo events, yeah. See, I sort of screwed myself because I used the Mazda RX-3 Forza edition just because it was like the first car I could sort of see in my garage that was B-class. I also have the Forza edition 886, but it's terrible, so I gave that one a skip. But again, I'm like really that fussed on that. I wasn't exactly there by my own choice, so alright, that's that dark red done. So now we move on to my favourite colour of the night, which is going to be this luscious orange. NX5 Cup's the best for the Toge challenges. Well, you see, this is it as well. I don't know if you're supposed to use a Mazda or not, so I just sort of like went off the assumption I guess I have to use a Mazda, so that works for that. I'm just going to, and I hope that doesn't come across on, I'm just going to go silent to see if that comes across. Okay, it comes across if I move slightly. Interesting. If that's too distracting, let me know. Actually, do you know what? Instead of putting that fan on, I'll put that on a little bit faster. There we go. Hello, lure case. Supposed to use a Mazda. Okay. Like I said, the guy I was with was in like an Evo, so either he didn't get the memo or he was playing it online because he wants to. Alright, 67 is the colour now. Do not say it. Do not say it. Do not say it. Right. let's do this orange. Speaking of Lamborghini Huracans, I think Huracans. There was like an Huracan colour, right? Was orange. I suppose orange is more what you associate with the Murcielago. Oh, and the Aventador, obviously. You know, orange was kind of the press colour for that car. This actually isn't the super bright orange I thought it was. It's sort of slightly more reserved. It's a very Dutch colour, this one. The Dutch flag. Would do a Dutch accent, but I absolutely cannot. Actually, the only thing I can do in Dutch is the Top Gear joke. It's literally the only thing I can do in a Dutch accent. But yeah, no, I didn't know the restrictions were on it, because you just have to go off the name of the name of it. So very conscious about stuttering on this, because I don't want to sound like the I don't know if you've seen the video that's going around there, the AI trying to say WWE, which is incredibly funny. That's sort of going around at the moment. What's going on in Abstract Fish Streamer? There you go, I read your comment. Because YouTube apparently doesn't like you for some reason. Is that the end of that album? No, it's just taking forever to load the next one for some reason. Because it's the Ishwai song. There is a joke in here about 787B colours, but we're not going to make it. Could not stop laughing when I saw that WWE video. Yeah, fucking good video. But like, apparently this is just like a fake. It sort of ruins it a little bit when you find out the issue isn't actually it can say WWE just fine. When you put what in front of it, so what WWE, because it wants to read it as what were we, but that makes no sense to its brain, so it just sort of freaks out and it doesn't know what it's doing. That's why it's doing it, basically. If you want a technical explanation of what's happening there, it's because it's saying what WWE and it just cannot figure it out because it's not supposed to be a sentence. So, ironically enough, I literally saw that and then I got YouTube short for iRobot, so if iRobot ever happens, just ask it what WWE and it can just do the wah 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 wah. It is pretty good though. It does make me wonder, because apparently like it's gotten to the point now where like AI like does fake breathing and stuff in between words to make itself sound more human. Like, it's just bizarre. So it's taking us to places, although I do still think it's probably one pissed off politician away from getting beamed out of the public's hands, so I wouldn't worry about it too much yet. If you can tell by the fact that I'm currently doing a stream with copyrighted music and looking at changing the colour on a say Arosa model for a 27-year-old game. I'm allergic to making money anyway, so don't worry. I'm never going to go to the dark side of using AI for my videos, so there you go. You can rest easy if that was a concern of yours for whatever reason. I'm not viciously against it like some people are. I don't really care, but I mean, it has no practical purpose in my mind. I'm very much a person who I'm very much a person who sees it, you know, if you want a job done properly, do it yourself sort of thing. So, like, technically there's like AI and stuff I could use for spreadsheets and whatever, and I just sort of don't. The most I do is sort of just jokingly ask Gemini for stuff, because, you know, it's kind of funny. I have got like a ridiculous Gemini subscription with my phone as well, so like next year. Although I do need to make sure to cancel that, because they charge you like £18 a month or something to run like Gemini Pro. It's actually ridiculous, and like, as far as I can tell, I don't actually know what Gemini Pro means, because like I asked it to do like make a video, you know, on something or other, and it's like, oh no, you can't use real people. It's like, well, what's the fucking point then? There's people who are like madly in love with it. I just don't get it. Like, people love those like AI shorts and stuff like that, where it's like, here's top 10 Karens getting humbled. Like, I just really, like, we're using AI for that. You can't just say at number 1, at number 2. Yeah, but I don't know what the features are. It didn't do a good job of telling me. I know technically it relates into my Google One account, I think, so I can get more storage space, but I don't use cloud storage for anything really, so I don't have anything important enough to throw into a cloud. I use Google Sheets for this, but I mean, you don't have to pay for Google Sheets, so. I'm gonna pay Google enough money for bits and pieces, so. Proud YouTube premium subscriber myself, you know? But yeah, I just like asking questions. Sometimes we'll just go, Gemini, what's Gran Turismo 2 Beige edition, and just see what it answers. Or what's Gran Turismo 2 Pizza Edition, which somehow it knows. I'm actually quite shocked it knows what Pizza Edition is. It knows who Nathan is. It doesn't have a clue who the fuck I am, but it knows who Nathan is. Which is cool. To be fair, my username is pretty, like, I mean, I like my username, but it's pretty sort of innocuous, because trying to pronounce it to, like, AI to actually say who is this person is difficult. So it just sort of folds into one, it just sort of folds into, like, one big mumbo-jumbo of E's, really. Yep, knows who HW Stewie and Nathan is, so I'll say that for free. Well, I mean, I suppose it would, wouldn't it? Because Nathan's obviously been mentioned in regards to like 3 separate mod projects at this point. So it'd know sort of who, you know, because it says like, oh, well, he know, to be honest with you, I think half of it's actually the fault of that fucking... By the way, I do mean this. The fucking awful Car Throttle article that got written on Beige edition, where the guy did zero research whatsoever before pumping it out, because I don't think it's actually written by a real person. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming because that's the first result for Beige edition, it pulls a lot of, and Nathan gets mentioned by name in that, so. No, probably not, but, you know. You don't really get a choice, you don't get an opt-out clause on these things, you just sort of... If you're in the Google search, then you're in that search. So. I don't remember the A-Spec. The only A-Spec article I ever read was the, I think it was the Drive one, because Computer sent it to me and was like, look, your video's mentioned. Which was cool. The Drive, I'm a big fan of the Drive. Mostly because they promote my stuff, so. Subscribe to the Drive, fuck Car Throttle. I don't even know what Car Throttle does anymore, to be honest, man. I think it was a situation like, God, what was it? Like, didn't Donut Media, like, lose all of their, like, top stars? It's like, they basically put these people under, like, tiny contracts and big corps rule it and say, you're not really needed anymore, and then they quickly find out that's the only reason anyone's watching. Because I don't think I've seen a Car Throttle video recommended to me since Alex and Ethan and Jack left, so. Nolan. If you're on about Donut, just to confirm, if you're on about Donut Media, I've never watched a Donut Media video in my life. Because I'll be honest, the thumbnail and the titles put me off. Like when it was like, oh yeah, here's a Honda Civic, here's everything you need to know about the Honda Civic, and they showed some like dog awful, stanced, fucking horrendous thing. It's like, yeah, I'm just not. Like I don't know what you're gonna tell me about the Honda Civic, but either I already know it, or I don't deem it that relevant to me. Aren't some of them in on that, like, isn't the Gran Tour or something coming back with like 2 people in a train spotter or something? See you later, thanks for good night, buddy. Fair enough. It's Americans' perspective stuff as well. I have a hard time watching a lot of car content on American perspective stuff these days. Just because it's all very sort of... I don't know who specifically is to blame for this, but I've noticed... Like, I get the throttles from, like, fucking hell, like Motor One and Car Scoops and stuff like that, and it's like, this Toyota Corolla is an enthusiast car of a manual transmission, only available in Japan. And then you find out it's like a 1.2 litre like base Corolla. It's like, that's not an enthusiast vehicle just because it has a fucking manual transmission. I don't know, maybe it's because my European brain, but trust me, there's a reason we're coming away from manuals, and it's because they're fucking terrible. For like most uses. I didn't mind driving a manual. I wouldn't mind having a fun manual car, but I prefer my automatic. I'll tell you that for free. Comes up with the catchphrases, yeah. God. Yeah, I know, like, I remember when those videos were, like, starting to come about, but, yeah, I just never really watched it. there's sort of like a specific time to grab me when it comes to like YouTube content. And yeah, I just think some of like the if you like manuals and stuff, that's cool. I just find like the articles when it's like Volkswagen just killed their last enthusiast manual car in America, and it's a Jetta, and it's just like, bro, what, like, come on, like, you know, like if it's something cool, I get it, you know, like, oh, if Subaru stops doing a WRX with a manual and stuff, I get it, but it's like, dude, this enthusiast car just went off sale. I can't believe they dropped the manual transmission option, and it's a Nissan Versa, and you're just like really, you know, stuff like that gets me. Speaking of stuff like gets me, this fucking song gets me right in the feels. Good shit. It's very sort of... The funny thing with like this sort of music is it's music that you think sounds like pretty sort of recent, and then you find out like this was made in like 2008. Ferrari though. Yeah. Oh, for real. Sorry, I read that as one word. Yeah, it's just bizarre. I know what they're trying to do. It's trying to like clickbait stuff to make people like care about it, but yeah, I mean, again, it's like, oh no, the manual transmission, the Jetta, whatever will we do? What every other Jetta driver's been doing, evidently, for the last fucking 25 years, and just buy a normal automatic Jetta like everyone else. I don't know. I get it with some cars. Like, I get it with, like, when they pulled the manual out of the Puma ST and replaced the 1.5 litre with the 1 litre. Like, I get that. That's just stupid. But then again, that's just a sort of very incredibly common Ford Euro L at the moment, which they can't seem to stop taking for the last 3 odd years. But that's a rant for a different time. All I know is I think Jim Farley needs to go. Because, you know, nothing's really improved under Jim Farley. I suppose that's a rant for a different day. Got the iconic Fanta car from Forza Horizon 5 here. 6. Iconic Fanta Toyota 800, which I do own, actually, ironically enough. I got Azza to buy Fanta, I think. For that. Shout out Azza. I should actually also have the, whatever it's called, the Tortino's peel, or whatever it's called, coming soon. Although that one's really bizarre, because I need to, like, verify your receipt or some bollocks, so, I need to check in on that, actually. They're supposed to send me an email about it, but they just haven't, so... What is that? Oh. Someone liking my aspect comment. If anything, there's a bit of junk about that. Yeah, that's definitely junk mail. Updates to Reddit's user policy. I couldn't tell you how little I care about that one. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that other thing. Maybe I need to get Beast and Colt to buy some of that. Never let you go. That's it, right? That's the final song off that album. Nope, there is one more. I guess we'll swap to... swap to the other one. This one's good. This one's very Gran Turismo 5 coded. Maybe the worst GT game. Well, I can't say it's the worst GT game. It's the worst mainline one, apart from 7, but we don't count that because that's basically GT Sport 2. They do have a good jazz soundtrack though. I suppose GT5's not actually like a bad game, it's just not... I just cannot... I struggle immensely with the glazing it receives at the moment, because I was there and I remember, and it sucked. I was there, I remember when that game came out. I remember how bad it was. I remember how disappointed everyone was. I remember waiting 6 years for it. I was there, damn it. So I'm very thankful I don't have kids as well, because... God. I suppose if you had them now, they'd like, childhood game would be Horizon 6, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but... You know, there's going to be a time in someone's life where, like, they're going to turn around to the internet and go, do you know what? My childhood game was Forza Motorsport 2023, and that wasn't that bad. So, like, oh no. Oh no. That is El Grandito. And nostalgia bias. I'm quite fortunate in the fact that like the games I have nostalgia bias for the most part were actually good. So, you know, I have some bad games that I like, but like you gotta remember GT5 came out like when I was like 13, so I didn't play it until I was like 15 or 16, and so there's the orange, by the way. Not quite as bright of an orange as I was sort of hoping for. It's a bit sort of tanning salon orange, but you know, it's still cool. And that does take us through to the 4 blues that are going to finish this off. What have we done? We've done the grey, the red, the orange. I'm still hoping the blue should sort of speed up a little bit, but we'll see. Spanish Golf? Nope, it's a Spanish Lupo. Oh. You weren't far off, Zephyr. Only a couple of car classes. Fun fact, did you know the Lupo's named after... What was it? The Lupo is Latin for wolf, and it gets its name from the Wolfsburg factory it was based out of. And then the Lupo gets its name from a principality, I think. It's called like Palomino di Arosa or something like that. Okay. The worst Crash Bandicoot game. I'll be honest, I played the first Crash Bandicoot game, and that's kind of it. And literally the only thing I remember about it is like there's one snow level, and that's kind of it. I'm not a platformer person. Like at all. I liked Super Mario World and Bros 3. But that's like literally like the most I've ever gotten into a platformer. And even that, I mean like completed as a kid, not actually like looked into anything else about the games. I know literally nothing. Oh, and Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, if you want to count that as well. Which I actually own, ironically enough, on Xbox now. I haven't played that for a while. I should actually play that because it's quite good. You play as like a Tasmanian tiger with boomerangs. It's very Australian. But it's like one of those games that you can tell is like Australian, but it wasn't written by Australians, so it's just sort of... Surprised I've never seen this one. It wouldn't surprise me if like most of the roasters have sort of been used, abused, and rotted out at this point. I mean, it depends where you live, I guess. I mean, I'm sure in like actual Spain, these are still like everywhere, because Spain doesn't have any like issues with rust or anything like that. I actually saw yesterday a rusted Dacia Sandero, like a 2014. I was like shocked. I think the Seat was like a lot cheaper. The Seat also, ironically enough, came first. Like the Seat came out in 97 and the Lupa came out in 98. Right. That's the end of this album, so we're gonna switch to the other Play One album, because I played it last time, but it was like halfway through the stream last time. So I suppose the next time I do this, I'll open up with Moving to You, and we'll do it that way. Right? That's just how we'll work it. Live in Italy. Oh, nice. Yeah, I can't imagine like Seat and stuff was that. I mean, in Italy, you know, you sort of... There's no point of really buying a premium city car. You may as well just have a Fiat or something. So... Although the Italian car market and the Spain car market is not actually like a million miles off. You're all big fans of the Dacia Sandero. I think Spain has some slightly more French influence, whereas Italy just sort of buys whatever's around them. Well, actually, I think Spain and Italy do like a modern MG for some reason. I don't know. I'm assuming because it's cheap, not because it's good, because they're not. But yeah, this colour here, I've got some slight concerns that that's going to be incredibly light, but I'll trust in the process on this one. I mean, it looks dark down here, but obviously that palette's not being cleaned, coloured in yet. It's this one here, and a lot of this is just kind of muddy and blends into one, but we'll see. This could be an attempt to not make it sort of like the Polo's blues as well. Well, I don't think the Polo has like a purple colour, but it doesn't have a blue from what I remember. quickly verify that actually. Give me a small break from copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Nope, not that. I don't know what that faulty .psx thing is, just to confirm. Yeah, it has a dark blue and a purple. Okay. Interesting. Anyway. See, Cupras and Ibifas here, mostly now with the new models. Fiat's still the most common brand here, as it should be. We love a Fiat, yeah. Big Fiat fanboys in this sector of the globe. I don't want a Grande Panda. Although that's more Serbian than Italian, but you know. Close enough. I guess. I don't know how that works actually with sort of... I do, they're building quite a lot of Fiats in Italy now. I think the 500 hybrids built in Italy. I think like, no, the 600 and the Tonale and all that are all Polish, I think. But yeah, I know the 500s are Italian now. Oh, though we've had the Polish ones that have been fine. Apart from clutch issue on the current 500, but I'll assume that's a nice. Well, apparently that's actually quite common on those, but yeah, one of them things, I guess. Every car needs a weak spot. I speak from experience. I've had the era of Honda where they had the automatic transmissions with the 100% failure rate, which is great. I feel your pain, Ford. But what was that? What was the gearbox called? What was the old Ford gearbox? Power shift. I feel your pain, power shift, friendos. I've been there. Admittedly, I sort of threw the car out afterwards. Is it music? It's Saturday, right? I'm like not living in a dream world. It is Saturday, isn't it? People are posting a bunch of music and I don't really know why. Normally a Tuesday thing. Grande Pandas in Serbia, 500 in Italy. There's something else in Italy though, isn't there? There's like the Jeep Avengers. No wait, is the Avenger Polish or is it Italian? I actually don't remember. I want to say there is like another Italian Fiat, but I literally don't remember what it is. I know obviously like actually the Tonale might be Italian, right? Because the fucking Junior obviously isn't, because it was called the Milano and then they got in trouble for that. Quite rightly, to be honest, as well, because it is a bit of a it is a silly lawsuit, but at the same time like yeah, maybe you should build the car in Milan if you're actually going to name it after Milan. You know, especially when you've got, like, I don't know, a fucking factory there. Which, as far as I'm aware, does nothing other than builds, like, Giulias and Stelvios, and literally nothing else. And for as good as cars as those are, they are, like, 10 years old now. Yeah. I mean, I can't really say anything. I'm British. We haven't made anything for like 20 years, so... Actually, tell a lie, we did make Hondas here in Swindon, and I'll tell you something, my Japanese-built Honda was... my Japanese-built Hondas have been far better built than my English-built Hondas have. Actually, my current Chinese-built Honda's better than the stuff we were building. Unless maybe the Mark 10 Civic was just that bad, no matter where actually... But, no, actually, I say it wasn't bad. Like a bit compared to the Mark 11, though, it's not very good. I swear this is a slightly different rip to the album that's actually on elsewhere, because I swear this song doesn't normally have lyrics. Well, I could be misremembering. Yeah. I mean, we'll see how long it lasts. I don't suspect... The Chinese thing... I think they're going to become a player. I don't think they're going to like dominate the world like some people predict they're going to. Especially just because they're building stuff there, but that'll be for us. I mean, in my CRV's case, they build it in Dongfeng because the batteries are cheaper. Like, it just involves like shipping a bunch of stuff over to Japan, and they don't sell the CRV there. So. Hello, DM Swordmaster. Wish you got a birthday gift. Is it your birthday? If so, happy birthday. If it's not, then happy birthday for whenever it is, I guess. I don't know. I was wondering when he's gonna pop in. I didn't know if it was like a Saturday was a bad day or something. This colour's going to show up really weird on here. I'm going to trust the process on that, but something tells me that's not going to show up particularly well. But I will trust the process. I wonder if this colour did end up on the Lupo eventually, because I swear to God I do remember Lupos being in, like, this colour. Hey, happy 31st birthday. I'm not quite as old as you, but fuck me, do I feel it. Yeah, I mean, the crucial thing with the Japanese cars is it depends, like, if anyone comes back for seconds, because a lot of cars get leased these days. So it depends if people have another one, because from what I've heard, the part supply and reliability is a bit sort of patchy. Mind you, to be fair, that hasn't stopped MG being quite a good brand, considering their reliability score is absolutely atrocious, and it has been for a long, long time. You're seeing the Leap motors, that's interesting. I barely see those. We see a lot of Yaku's here. But that's just because they look a bit like a Range Rover. Which is literally the only reason they're selling them to gullible people. They don't know what Range Rovers are. But yeah, I'd see a couple of TO3s. I don't think I've seen a single C10 in my life. This song definitely doesn't normally have lyrics. I don't know why this version of it does. I'm not a big fan of the... I don't think the lyrics are really adding anything to it, so... The weather sucks. Like, the weather sucks hot, or the weather sucks as in, like, tsunami. You know? No, it's been a bit volatile as of late. It's not been horrendous today, it is due to cool down tomorrow and into next week, which I'm very happy about. Might actually finally start getting some shit done, because I am in desperate need of getting stuff done. Hoping it's nice and mild tomorrow, because I need to do the short. Hot, yeah. Yep. Heat kills. This one's good. I like this one. I think when we last did the stream 3 weeks ago, I hadn't actually heard this album in full, and now I've heard it like a billion times, so I know what I like and what I don't like in this one. Wait, no, it's not this one, it's the one after this. This one's the one that's incredibly GT5 coded. You'll see what I mean in a second. I like how I'm still colouring both of these two to try and, you know, I'm fairly certain literally this one's actually the front bumper, not the rear bumper, but, you know, I may as well colour the full thing in just in case, you know. The thing that's going to be an absolute twat on this one is the night model, because I'm going to have to do the rear lights again, I think, for this one. You actually might be able to reuse them, but I don't want to take any chances on it just in case. There's not a million. Cat snoozing, God. The heat coming off that cat, I'd have thrown it out the fucking window. Oh. It's currently 27 in here. I wish I had AC. I don't. We probably should. That's an investment I will make before long, because it is getting fucking... It's getting sort of... Not like we're definitely having warmer, like, warm periods, but we're also just getting them at random points in the year, like now. You know. Don't get me wrong, it should be warmer in May, but it probably shouldn't be like this warm. This is normally like what you'd expect to see in July. I do worry August is going to be a fucking killer year this year, like it was in a couple of years ago. Cue that. Where is it actually? Can I find this? Why is everything loading so slow? Like, the internet's not bad, it's just so fucking slow to load stuff. That's weird. Because like my download and upload's like 130 megs and like, I don't know, 30 down or something, but the... Oh, I am not signed into Twitter on here. It is definitely displaying the other screen, isn't it? It is definitely displaying the other screen. Cool. Fuck off. I do not want grok. Where's the X button? Of course you put the X button up there like you some sort of fucking apple. Here you go. Here's my great tweet. There you go. Shout out to the 41-degree heat that did once exist. That was actually a different, because there was that as well. What day was that on? I think that was just as I left work one day, and then the other one was like as I was coming out of it. Yeah, I mean, hot's relative. Like, you gotta remember, like, English houses are built to, like, keep heat in. Because, we're used to moaning about the weather, so they figured instead of, like, building, like, a hybrid where it can, like, do in and out, they were just like, fuck it, I guess we're just building it to keep it in. Constantly. They do say that. I have no idea how you build something to keep heat in and how you build something to keep heat out. I'm not a builder. Can't think of anything I'm less of, to be honest with you, than a builder. Like, building would not appeal to me whatsoever. Outside of maybe the big machinery you can use. Yeah. I mean, it depends where you are in Yankee Danky Doodle land, because, you know, in Florida they consider like 20 degrees, like, freezing cold, so. Expensive to maintain air conditioning units. I don't care. That cost is worth it to me. Oh god, I don't like them window hangout ones, I've got to be honest. Because you've got to sort of look at it through, like, British brain, so like how we look at pickup trucks. Like, why would you have a daily as a pickup truck? People are just gonna steal whatever's out the back. It's like an aircon unit. If you put one of those in a window, someone's stealing the fucking thing, like in the middle of the night, and there's nothing you can do. So is it this one I like? Sorry. It is not this one, it's in a bit, actually. It's like, not the next song, it's the song after that. This one's good, though. Right, let's just double check. I do seriously wait for the day someone like rips Beige Edition apart to like get one of the models out of here. Like someone literally like, it's like, dude, I really want to say Arosa in GT2, and like rips it out of here and then realizes it's on top of the fucking Corolla rally car. That's what I wait for. That's what I wait for. Yeah. I like that colour though. It's sort of like a softy sort of blue. That also means we're halfway through this. There's now a really bright blue and then 2 sort of mediocre blues. And to be fair, the mediocre blues are the ones we like, because they're essentially all one colour. In case you're wondering, all of the Seats are on top of like bizarre Toyotas. Fairly certain one of the Seats is actually a Toyota GT1. In case you're wondering, I don't think it's actually a case of like lol funny. I think Nathan did have like a way of doing the ID replacements when we was doing them originally. Although I think some of them just sort of ended up on whatever was spare. And sometimes in a game of whatever's spare, one of it happens to be the Toyota GT1, so. But I know the Alhambra's on the Celica GTR, so not that interesting. Literally. Yeah, they're all on like bizarre. I mean, the spat. Ironically, the one sort of non-weird one is the Espas is going to sit on the Espas F1, so. Although, as I think I showed... Did I show this in the last stream? I don't remember. You might have seen it. Currently, the Buick Rendezvous sits on top of the Espas F1, although that's not going to exist in the actual mod itself. Mostly because that model's really old now, actually, come to think of it. That was like April Fool's 2024, I think that happened. The Buick Rendezvous demo, the one that fooled that one publication. The slot publication that I forgot the name of. What you think of me? Did we finish the Charan last time out? I actually don't remember how this worked. I was just sort of thinking, because I don't know how many hours I've actually got in me tonight, so I don't know if we're actually going to finish. I want to get it to the point where you see it in-game with all the colours, if I can. But I don't know if we'll do nights on this. I might do it off camera, because that's a pretty boring job. I don't mind having like a shower and a few shots in me when I do it. That, and I'm also... I'll do the night, but I'm probably going to prioritise making the YouTube short over 100% finishing this one off. And I'll finish it off, obviously, like straight after. I'm just trying to think in terms of time management though. Sort of reminds me of like Discord's colours, this car. It's like a really sort of paley, purpley blue. I don't know, what colour is this supposed to actually look like? There is the ref somewhere for this. Nathan's been weirdly obsessed with the Buick Regal the last couple of days. No. Oh, if you want to laugh, the this colour was so rare we couldn't find a Cordoba or an Arosa or a Leon or anything that was in this colour. So this colour has literally been pulled off the wing of like a Cordoba. So there's no reference images for this anywhere. So apparently people who bought Seats were not into green, I guess. I guess kind of makes sense, but like when you can find like reference images for all 14 Mercedes like blues and greens that they came in, which are even more pointless colours when you think about it, because you know most people who buy Mercs literally only buy them like grey or silver or black. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. Seat is like kind of one of those brands though where like the documentation of it sort of falls off a bit, because I think it's better now. Obviously now there's like Cupras and stuff like that, but I think like the early like Volkswagen stuff no one really like cared that much about. It's kind of like, as I found in the last couple of months and weeks, although finally that saga came to an end today, Japanese Civics that aren't Type R's are like actually pretty undocumented. Like no one get the brochures or anything, because you know Civic was just like a whatever car in Japan. You know, you didn't have like the community around it or anything like you did over here. Which is interesting. I think the later Civic's probably got to be even harder, because that wasn't even built in Japan, that was built in the UK. Although that'll probably make colours and stuff easy. Usually colours, realistically, for like different markets and stuff, if it's from like the same factory, it won't really change that much. Like for example, on like the 11th gen Honda Civic hatchback, like outside of the American market ones that came in like some cool blues and stuff, the sort of European ones and the Japanese ones were all built in Sequoia, so they all sort of looked roughly the same colours and all that. Weird base models is fascinating. The Yaris's with mustaches, yeah. The problem we've got here, specifically with what we're doing, is we're on like that weird sort of like TV was back in the day. Like I don't know how much you know about like sort of archiving TV and stuff, but they have this big issue where like stuff from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s is all really well documented because they've got all like the original files, but like stuff from like the 80s and 90s, whenever they like rerun it on TV, it looks really fuzzy and weird, and that's because they just used to throw stuff like that out because they were just like, well, no one's gonna want this. So the same with like cars and stuff. Like Toyota cares. Toyota like literally keeps everything, which is really good. And there's like a couple of resources and stuff, but for the most part, like 90s cars, like no one really like cared. Well, it's like nowadays, you know, every like brochure's documented digitally. So like, whoever does this in 25 years' time for Gran Turismo 7. You know, and they want to find out anything on like a modern Vauxhall Crossland or Subaru Forester or whatever, like all that's going to be like digital and just available and around. So it's kind of like that up until about 2006, 2007. At that point, everything started getting like documented online. Yeah, I mean, there will be stuff that is, definitely. I mean, you know, some of the cars we've got on our list are definitely more well documented than others. There are places, there's some good Pinterest accounts, I find. Stuart Fletcher is a guy well worth following. I don't know how much Pinterest you can really show. Literally anything to avoid working in this fucking Arosa. But like they document like a lot of like the Japanese stuff. You find it in like weird places as well. Like there's like loads of there's like a giant tuning website for Wagonars that was active from back in the day. There's like an old Citroen fan forum that like had tons of stuff about. That's really interesting because it's got stuff about like the Berlingo and the ZX. But it's also like literally from like Zara Picasso. I don't know if that website still exists. It might have been taken down now because there's that old like server that died that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, it's like literally from like before the Zara Picasso came out, and so the guy's like, oh, what colour shall I order mine in? Here's a bunch of like Rip Berlingo Zone. There you go, Nathan's got it. Berlingo Zone. So some like old stuff like that's all undocumented, which is interesting. So, but yeah, I mean, sort of as old websites go down, but you find stuff in all sorts of weird places. Though you find it like on that. There's tripod.com. I remember. We thought we was going to have massive issues with the Korean market stuff, and then we just randomly came across this website where like 10 Korean guys just shared brochures that they had lying around of like old Hyundai XGs and Atoses and stuff like that. So you can find it around, like it does exist, which is just bizarre. Also, Nathan, I fucking hate you. Why is there so many pallets to this fucking car? I don't know why I'm blaming you, because I'm first saying this is just using the Polo's pallets. But, oh my god, there's so many of these to change. And I want to have to change it for every single night one as well, because there's like 2 colours on that. It's just hard and dull and deaf to find. But the good news is it's not far from over yet. There's just 2 blues now. Blame polyphony. Fucking my hands going fucking numb at this point. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's stuff you'll just like find in garages and all sorts. Dun, 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 dun. There is some guy somewhere who's got like a load of I'm trying to think of an example. The only car that's coming to mind is the Mitsubishi RVR Super Open Gear, and we found stuff like that earlier, so. Because there's some like old Japanese granddad who just uploads car brochure read-throughs on YouTube. Actually, if you want to laugh, the Focus colours for the Ford Focus, they actually came from, there's like just a random guy who has a YouTube channel, and he's just obsessed with Ford Focuses, and documents everything, wheel trims, colours, the position where the window wipers goes. He just talks about it. You know, that's his YouTube channel. It's literally called like the Focus Zone or something, and all he does is just talk about Ford Focuses. It's great. They're the people you need. Fortunately, we haven't had to do it yet, but I know like some of the A-Spec stuff, like the old race cars and stuff for A-Spec, like some of it was like you literally track down the guy who made it. Arosa does a lot of that as well for like his race car projects and stuff. Or you just like literally speak to the person who actually built these things. Has it? Did that disconnect and reconnect? I have literally no idea. It's fine on my end. This one's a banger, by the way. This is the best song off this fucking album. It's such a banger. Maybe here to skip. I have literally no idea. Either way, if you saw that to pop up down there, I mean, I suppose it's good that it pops up. I'm kind of glad that hasn't happened during a GT2 recording, right? I was a bit more pissed about it, but because like my antivirus will do that where it like pops them up as you're literally like booting GTA. It's really hard to get the notification off the screen. Not that we've actually played GTA for a couple of weeks now. Forza better, and honestly, like, we was worried about like this month having no content for Beige, and then like all of a sudden in like this last like week things have just got insane, and now there's like 11 or 12 cars for this month. It's actually ridiculous. Teams just sort of come together massively on that one. All these colours sort of bleed into one, look so similar. This one is a different one. I should actually, instead of going to this line down here. Yeah. I mean, funnily enough, we're actually, hey, Chaser. I think we're at car 214 or something now, so there's probably like a next part of Nathan's fucking 100 cars of Beige video coming soon, so look forward to that. I'm actually pretty impressed because that means we've got 120 cars inside of 6 months, which is pretty nuts. I think just about 6 months. I think that video came out in November, so 7 months. But obviously, it'll probably happen halfway through next month. But we're definitely coming somewhere. There's a lot going on. But yeah, I think even like this last week, we literally got like 5 cars. Lupo in Spanish, indeed. It is Arosa time. Named after a principality in Spain, apparently. I found out today. I literally said this like 10 minutes ago, but I also found out the Lupo is apparently Spanish for... Oh, sorry. The Lupo is apparently Latin for wolf. And wolf refers to the factories built in Wolfsburg. So, those zany Germans and their naming conventions. I'm moving to you, head loss. Bilingo Zone died because it's an old website domain. I'm fairly certain I managed to pull the Bilingo logo off that before it died. So its legacy will exist onwards in Beige, don't you worry. I actually do feel kind of bad because like Bilingo Zone was actually like one of the very first sort of sources we had for bits and pieces. Gone but not forgotten. I'm sure the guy who made it like literally doesn't even know he was still paying for the domain like 27 years later. Probably like in his fucking 70s in his French retirement home. I'm gonna like, Oh, I remember when I used to run he like sees a Bolingo and passed outside the window, dropping off baguettes or whatever. It was in like French retirement homes. He's like, well, I used to run a site about those, and I'm like, well, Francois, did you not know the Bolingo zone? And he's like, yes, that was it. I remember that. Those were the days. And it's like, no, Francois, it's still up. What? Yeah, Francois, it's still up. 9. And then he's just like, his tripod's died anyway, and he just gets sad. You hear that, providers a tripod? You've made an old French guy called Francois probably very sad in his French retirement home. Because evidently he must have been at least 60 when he fucking made the site, considering he was talking about Bolingos. And all the ladies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy. Yeah. Well, you say that the Arosa came first, so technically, is the Lupo not a rebadged Arosa? It isn't. To be fair, the Arosa was literally built in the Lupo's factory for like a couple of years before it switched to Spain, so I'm almost fairly certain this was Volkswagen's idea and they just had a Seat badge on it. I'm gonna guess because Seat didn't have a small car back then. Actually, no. What the fuck am I talking about? The Ibiza existed. Yeah. Maybe they wanted to use like Seat as a scapegoat to see if like it was actually a idea worth having. You never really can know what the Germans are up to. I'm almost certain that's already done it. Fucking. It really annoys me when you like generate a file and it just doesn't show up in your file explorer straight away. Right. That's that other blue, and that's the newer blue. Ah. I'm assuming that just doesn't show up because the HUD lines on this palette are too similar. It isn't one colour that, so I don't understand why that's happened. I think because that... Is that a me fuck up? That could be a me fuck up. I haven't got to go and look through the stream to find that out. Alright, let's do that. Okay, it's me being an idiot. Unsurprising, that's usually what most things in life are. Cool. Alright, crash is averted on that. The Arosa's still got its lovely bloodlines, so it doesn't look all like flat and weird. Well, Volkswagen uses most of its brands to scapegoat, because there's like the A3 came out before the 4th gen Mark IV as the fucking whatever it was, just Skoda Octavia. So it's not entirely uncommon, I guess. Ugh. Right, 2 more dark blues to go, and then we're done. This really is all just sort of blending into one for me. How are we looking on this actually at the moment? To be fair, we have been out for like 2 hours and 17 minutes. Let me just quickly...
Just listen to the music.
I was really hoping to get like open the window and get a blast of like cold air, but it's actually just sort of like warm nothingness going on out there at the moment. I keep getting followed by bots, I'm fairly certain, on Twitter. I need to double check that. Jesus Christ. Oh god. How the fuck did the US have a vice president called Dick Cheney? Say something negative about Horizon 6. Stop making me play online. Right. Let's carry on. I'm starting to get to the point with this where I've got nothing left for it. Genuinely, what do you say about the Arosa? Sure is a car. It sure is. Like, it really is just the car of all time, isn't it? I think it's cool. I like the Arosa. I've never known a normal person own an Arosa. Everyone I've known has an Arosa has been a dick. But, a lot of them are post-facelifts now as well. You don't see a lot of pre-facelifts. You don't see a lot of the, bored eye Arosas. A lot of them are sort of wider-eyed Arosas that came around a little bit later with the funky tail lights. Which is quite funny because I don't think the Lupo ever got a facelift, like a proper facelift. I think they may have done like a small update to like the lights and stuff, but the Arosa got quite a substantial facelift, I think, to try and make it sort of stand out a little bit more. It has just reminded me there's an old Top Gear segment on the Arosa actually where Tiff and Dell drives on. About like a fuel economy challenge or something. It's red. Same one where Quinton Wilson drives the Wagon-R, and I think Clarkson has a Daihatsu of some description, like a Quarry or something. Top Gear, obviously, like, I suppose it's pretty well known at this point. Like, the Top Gear trio used to change their mind on cars, like, pretty... It wasn't uncommon. Like, I remember when, like, they first did the road test on the Peugeot 407, they said, like, how great it drove, and then obviously, sort of, as years have passed, the 407's been taken the piss out of. Like, I think Hammond originally hated the 206, and then he drove it on Top Gear, and he's like, wow, this is great. I don't know why these are all Peugeot related. But, like, Clarkson really liked the Daihatsu Quarry when he drove it on Top Gear originally, and then, like, a couple years later, he destroyed the, what was it, the, what was the other one called? The, fucking Malaysian version of it, the Projua, the Canary. Not the Canary, the Kalisa. Destroyed when I was in heaven and hell. I suppose to cover it off now, there's no Projua in Beige Edition, for obvious reasons. Same reason we don't have Proton, because the Malaysian car manufacturers, like, it wasn't like sort of a Seat or Skoda thing. Like, Proton and Perodua were quite literally just rebadged like Mitsubishis and Daihatsus respectively. Like, they didn't really do any of their own work on it. It literally was just rebadges. So there's not a lot to say about them on that one. This dark blue is going to be a bit of a 50-50 on whether this shows up on this palette or not, I think. Because it's pretty close on the actually no, it'll probably round it down to maybe. That looks awfully similar, that though. I don't know. Only one way to find out. Hopefully I won't screw up the colour running this time round on this one. God, this is when I do start struggling with some of these like colours, like these blues and greys especially. Like the colour map I've got on my side, it's really difficult to distinguish between like all of these are like 5 different shades of blue, and like maybe it's because I'm like massively colourblind or something, but like to my brain distinguishing between like all of those is like really difficult. So I'm having to make sure I got like the correct colour for this. It is not fun. That being said, I quite like doing this. It's almost relaxing in a way. I've got like the perfect setup for it as well nowadays with this old Logitech MX Master Mouse, which has got all the shortcut buttons on the side of it, which makes this a lot easier. Because this used to be a massive strain on my arm, and now it isn't so much. No, I don't think I don't know. I don't think it's like a particular colour. I think I'm just not particularly... Honestly, it is a tad relaxing. I'm pretty drowsy. Yeah, I am too, actually. The problem with this is, like, for this to sort of... Like, the Sharam one works really well because we had quite a few people in the chat. This one's been, like, sort of people coming in and out, so it has been a bit more... There's not a lot to say about this after a while. And yeah, part of that's on me for not making this super interesting. But yeah, this is the problem I have with it, is because like I was just sort of stopping it earlier, and I was just like, I need to just focus on this and do it, and so we streamed it. Design and refinement ASMR, yeah. Well, I'm sort of hoping eventually, and when I say eventually, I'm sort of hoping sooner rather than later we'll have something a bit more interesting to show off. Like, we'll be able to do some streams actually like testing it and breaking it, which will be cool, but we'll see. I know Booster said about streaming the stat side of it, and I think he should. So, but that's up to him on how he wants to go about that. Fortunately, he's been the MVP this week because he did a load of. He was working late into the hours on Thursday night, sorting the tyres out because we thought we was going to have a major issue, which turned out to be a minor issue. Love breaking things. Yeah. Well, like we've sort of discussed before, this isn't going to be like a constantly updated project. This is literally like once it's done, it's out, and that's it. So, like the final sort of couple of months of development on this. The reason there's no like planned release date or any like deadline or anything like that is because I want the time to like really work on this and take it apart and just sort of see what works and see what doesn't, you know. Although that'll obviously be in the era where we can start, you know, really playing through it properly. That'll be when you start getting like your creator demos and stuff go out into the wild. So that'll be fun, but we're still like probably at least a year away from any of that stuff. If not like way longer, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Enjoy this while it exists. It always makes me laugh when, because I know Nathan's tweets sometimes get it as well, where it's like, oh, I can't believe we got this in GT2 before GTA 6, and it's like, this is not happening before GTA 6. The funny thing with like GTA 6 is like you tell people that and they're like, oh my god, it can like literally the world won't exist after GTA 6. And I don't think like people realise like I genuinely think people are going to be more nostalgic about like the wait for GTA 6 and the whole like everything going on for GTA 6 than they actually will be for GTA 6. I don't doubt it's going to be massive. I don't doubt it's probably going to occupy people's brains for like weeks and months after it comes out, but it's not like the definitive like, oh, no game will literally ever exist after this sort of thing, you know. Whether any game like going forward will be as like sort of hyped and all the rest of it, but you got to remember like you are playing into like Rockstar's hands with that, because literally this game wouldn't have so much sort of hype and waiting for it if they'd just fucking released it like 5 years ago, which is what they should have done, to be honest. I still think it's kind of criminal in the time between like GTA 5 coming out and GTA 6 coming out. Is that right? That's not right. Something's not right here. No, that is right. Okay. Yeah. Like, it should have been out like 5 years ago, just to confirm. Like, it's insane to me that the difference between GTA 5 and GTA 6, in that time, they literally released the entirety of the 3D era and GTA 4 and Chinatown Wars and all the expansions for the game. Like, it's actually insane that GTA 5's been with us longer than literally the entire run from GTA 3 to Chinatown Wars. It's actually ridiculous. So, well, you know, is what it is. But it's not going to be like a world, like, I'm sorry, Gran Turismo 2 modding is pretty much not going to be affected by GTA 6. If anything, we've probably been more affected by, like, the event of fucking Horizon 6 than we have will be by GTA 6. So. Obviously, I'll like sort of buy it and play it at day one and all the rest of it, but I don't know. I think it'll be good. I'm just not like a massive fan of sort of the last couple of Rockstar titles, if I'm being honest. Like GTA 5 was cool and stuff, but I don't really think it was a massive step up from 4, and I hate LA. So setting the game there sort of an instant red flag for me. And then I didn't even finish Red Dead 2. Like, Red Dead 2 is fantastic and it's great and all the rest of it, but it's too realistic to a detriment, and I do worry about that. Like, oh no, you know, you've just trekked for 5 minutes across the wilderness after leaving your horse behind, but you forgot to unstow your rifle from the horse, so now you're in a fucking firefight with like a pea shooting pistol, and it's either that or like run 5 minutes back to your horse. Like, it's too much for me personally. Like, Red Dead 1 I wasn't a huge fan of, but like I completed that sort of in preparation for playing through 2, and yeah. The problem is, it's like a Kazunori fucking Yamauchi thing where like, oh well, realism, driving simulator. It's like, yeah, but you know, making something stupidly realistic doesn't mean that it's actually going to be like fun, you know. I'd still play. I don't care how realistic it is. I'd still rather play Gran Turismo 2 a million times over playing GTA or GT7. You know. Honestly, I'd still rather play like San Andreas than 4 for the most part. I love 4. I desperately love GTA 4, but fueling your car and stuff I don't mind, but it's like Mafia 2 was like sort of like that, where you have to like fuel your car and stay under the speed limit and all the rest of it, and it's just like The worst bit is though, I think it probably will be as realistic as that, because of the sort of, they'll evidently in their sort of back pockets they'll keep in mind like the success GTA roleplay's had over the last couple of years, because people are like really into GTA roleplay and stuff now. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it is more realistic, to sort of counter the roleplay guys who are like massively into all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I have no doubt they'll make it. Listen, I have no doubt it'll be good. I have no doubt it'll be great. I have no doubt I will complete it. But yeah, I don't know. But then again, I mean, like, I'm an old school, like, you know, I prefer the 3D era games to anything that's come since then. Again, I love 4. I really love 4. 4's got one of the great open world stories, 100%. But you know, is it a game that you want? It's not a game I would go back and play as much as I would something like San Andreas or Vice City or whatever. Just because there's more sort of freedom in those games to do whatever you want. Realism works great when you're like in the midst of the story mode and stuff. Realism, like, once you start getting into like the open world stuff, it's just like less so, you know. But we'll see. I mean, I'll be honest as well. Like, I know this is like absolutely criminal to say. The first GTA 6 trailer was amazing. You know, the Tom Petty one, the Long Long Road. Everything about that was fantastic. I don't remember anything about the second trailer, and I've seen it a few times now, trying to remind myself of what's in it, and it's just so... it's boring. Like, to be honest, the trailer's boring. It doesn't grab me, you know. A guy walks out of his house, buys some beer. It just, that worries me. That scares me. I don't want to do a mission where you walk into a 7-Eleven to buy beer, you know. That's just silly. Or 24/7 if you want to be a GTA code, you know. I'm fine if that wants to be an optional side activity or whatever, but like, you know, do I really care? No, you know. Like, the second trailer's 3 minutes long. That is way too long for a trailer to be. It's ridiculous. So I'm not really... Yeah. The second trailer worries me because, again, I was not captivated by that fucking trailer, I'll tell you that. I can't even remember what song they used for it. I can't even remember if there was music in it. It's just, I remember the last time I watched it, I was watching it with Nathan, and I was just like, you could literally cut out, like, you could literally cut out the first minute of that trailer and it would change nothing, and in fact, actually, it'd make it flow better. So... Right, I've got to be honest, there is one more blue to do. I'm going to do that blue off stream because I'm fucking struggling here. So what we're going to do is not that. What we're going to do is... I'll show you in game. That's the plan. And then I'm going to finish the night version and the blue off myself. Just because I'm probably going to have a shower because it's fucking boiling hot here and I can't stand it. So. Right, let's go ahead and actually first I need to write to the thing, so leave that playing for a bit. Also, shout out to the thumbnails that aren't in there yet. I should actually get rid of Cheat Engine because I swear I had it for like changing the names of stuff on her. Well, that says it's done. I'm not actually sure if it has actually done it or not, but oh well. Right, let's do the fade out so at least it's not being disrespectful to our friends at Play One. We do love a bit of Play One here on this channel. Shout out Play One, Ukrainian music is good. Right. Shit. It's also got a logo. Again, it's a Corolla rally car at the moment, so don't look too far into the stats and all the rest of it. Rosewood red, interesting. Mandarin metallic. I can imagine that's probably going to be like the colour. Vibrant green's cool. Yucca green. I actually think I remember quite a few Yucca green ones around. Oh, Lapis Lazuli, Minecraft, bro. And I forgot to save that one in. Great. Amazing. Oh, we'll drive the Maradona colour because that's the one that's around at the moment. It is fire. Look at that fire right there. Yep, that sure is Santa Arosa. Need to make that the stream thumbnail at some point. But yeah, I mean, it goes, it steers, it's got the correct tyres on it now. Like I say, obviously it's a lot quicker than the 50 horsepower 1 litre Arosa actually will be when it goes in game, but yeah, there it is. It's sick, it's cool, it's awesome. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Beautiful. Right. With that all being said and done, I will actually very quickly just to cap this off. Just so you can actually see it. T2CWR. I will quickly showcase actually I'll dump this back on. Why is that not showing up on there? I would say there'd be an error with the colour name, but I don't think that's actually true. It's because that's not going onto there for some reason. I don't know why. Am I being an idiot? I actually do not know. I don't know if it's because I moved it onto that to editable and it's broken it. Right, just to double check that that's not the issue, what I'm going to do, move that to there. Do you know what actually might be worth doing? Delete that. Yeah, there is something fucky with that now. Right, let's oh, this is why I hate having only 2 monitors sometimes. Right, let us do that. Delete that. Close that. And then do that. Which is the wrong thing. So then we do that. Oh. The entire thing's broken. Okay, I guess we won't do whatever we was doing. I don't know what's broken though. I'll figure that out on the inside. Either way, that's the end for tonight. So thank you all very much for coming out. Apologies we didn't finish it. Apologies, I also don't know what broke there, but either way, thank you all for watching, and until next time, farewell. I fixed it, by the way. I just had to remove the files, so fortunately, crisis averted. We're all good.